Lisa Johnson with Atlanta Film and TV. Today we are having a conversation with cosplay artist Lisa Lake. A few months ago, Lisa had the opportunity to be a part of a film titled Duty Calls at Neutral Zone Studios in Kingsland, Georgia. Hi, Lisa. How are you today?
Hi, Mandy. I'm doing great.
Could you tell us about who you are and what you do and how you got your start in cosplay?
Sure. So I am a mom and a wife. Um, I am an executive director for a nonprofit, a disability nonprofit organization. It's called Telic Empowerment. And I am also a cosplayer. I got my start in cosplay just a few years ago, and in 2019 is actually when I started cosplaying. So it hasn't been very long. And it really kind of started as a result of me going to Dragon Con. And Dragon Con is one of the biggest cosplay conventions that's in the country, and it happens to be here in Atlanta. So me and my husband go to Dragon Con every single year, and we've never ever considered cosplaying or dressing up in any type of costume. And in 2019, I was asked by a friend to actually be a part of a cosplay group with her. And that was my first time doing that. And it was amazing. And I got to dress up and I was with the group, and it was really, really fun. I had no idea I was going to have that much fun. And I just, after that experience, decided I'm going to continue to do this because it is a great opportunity for me to just do something I like and have fun with it.
You've only been doing it since 2019. I thought it's been longer myself. So
No, it's only been a few years, but I've been going to cosplay conventions for like 10 or 11 years, but I've never actually got into the cosplaying myself until 2019.
wow. So who are some of your favorite characters that you've cosplayed?
Oh my God. Okay, so I am wearing disco shirt, which means this shirt is from Discovery, from Star Trek Discovery. This is one of the shirts that they were on the series. But Star Trek is, I'm a huge fan of Star Trek, and so I love to cosplay the captain of Star Trek Discovery, which is Michael Burnham. So that's one of my favorite cosplays, hands down. But I also love doing other renditions. Really, just I like to take characters and just make them my own. And so I like doing Disney princesses. Some of my favorite ones are Snow White. I have a Moana cosplay that I really like to do, and then I really like getting. I really like doing characters that I kind of relate to, and there's something about them that I like or that I feel is strong or I'm connected to. And so I like to do Storm from Marvel and the X-Men characters, because those are characters that I feel they have something that I kind of can relate to myself, and I like the strength in the character. So that's definitely another one of my like absolute favorites, but I'm willing to do a whole lot of stuff. Just, I'm always looking for characters to cosplay and try something new.
And you do a really good job. I love the one you did. I think it was during the shutdown of Taraji Henson's character in, I can't think of the name of the movie.
Yes. That is from, oh my gosh.
The
I
the
know that.
math the math movie. I can't think of the name of it, but it was filmed
I know
here in Atlanta.
you're on the tip of my tongue now. It's gonna bother me now until I figure it out. But you know what? The movie characters are always characters that are there's something that's inspiring about them. And though, like that particular character, as soon as I saw the movie, I instantly knew I wanted to cosplay that character. And that only happens, every now and then, but those are things that I grab inspiration from, is when watching movies, watching TV shows. Sometimes it's just like beloved characters, that those are all ways that I kind of, when I find something I connect to, I know immediately I want to cosplay, and I'll start doing research for it. So, but yeah, that's another one.
So you're very passionate about cosplay. Can you share with us what brings on that passion?
I think what cosplay does for me is it gives me an outlet to be creative, and it gives me an outlet to really express myself in ways that I normally can't. So I'm a mother, like I said, I have 4 children. I also am, I work at a clinic, at a pediatric neurology clinic. And then I also work as the executive director for a nonprofit that I'm a co-founder of. And I love all of those jobs. Like, those are great jobs, but those jobs are also, there's a lot of things that I have to do kind of daily that are just professional. I have to run business. And so having cosplay is like an outlet. It really, when I realize that when you're working all the time and you're just kind of going, you don't always realize like the pieces of yourself that you're not able to tap into when you're doing a job. And so when I had the opportunity to do cosplay, it really opened up this door of creativity and being able to do costume design and be able to, there's so many components to creating a cosplay that you really didn't recognize until you start doing it. You're creating wigs, you're putting together colors and fabrics, you're sewing, there's, I didn't even know how to sew, but at first there's and then there's research, because you actually want to embody, there's a level of acting that's happening when you are putting together these pieces, because you want to embody a character that you've seen on a TV, on a screen, or on a movie, or in a cartoon, or on a video game. I mean, there's so many characters that can be cosplayed. And so there's just an excitement about being able to kind of dive into doing something that's like that, because it's like nothing else that I do in my life. So I think and it's like taking pictures, and it's so many pieces that are just exciting parts that that are not pieces that I do every day in my day-to-day job.
We'll also add costume designer to your resume and actor to your resume. Because I mean, you're doing right. So we're going to take a break, but we'll be right back.
So excited and happy that you are here and hopefully entrusting me with your acting journey.
Join the Academy today at www.actingforbeginners.academy, where we will discuss breaking down scenes.
What is your scene about?
Where I will give you the tools on how to do so.
Who? What do I mean by who? Now we're going to talk about why. Why is this scene important?
I will also show you how to apply different techniques to scenes.
Okay, we are going to apply Uda Hagen's 9 questions to our script here. Trust me.
You will receive downloadable PDFs. We'll talk about actions. We'll talk about beats. We will even analyze movie clips and discuss the actors' actions in those scenes. So join the Academy today, where there are many courses to choose from. You have the Art of Film Acting, Mindset, Becoming an Actor, and Effortless Self-Tape, and Breaking Down Scripts. Or if you would like a private online coaching session with me, you can go ahead and set that appointment today. And don't forget to purchase your My 2-Year Acting for Beginners planner. See you in the Academy. www.actingforbeginners.academy.
Welcome back. I am your host, Mandisa Johnson, with Atlanta Film and TV, and today we are having a conversation with cosplay artist Lisa Lake. Can you share with us about some of the events you've participated in as a cosplay artist?
Sure. So before cosplaying, the only thing I really knew was to go to Dragon Con, because that's what was here and that was what was local, and that was the big event every year that I would just look forward to doing. But what I didn't know is doing cosplay, you can actually participate in quite a few things. And a lot of people actually use their cosplays for going to parties and things like that. You can actually monetize uh, your cosplay, costumes and turn it into its own business.
Wow.
But yeah, which, so people are actually like cosplayers are out there making money and turning cosplay into a profession. But for me, it has opened doors for me to do other things. I've been invited to a lot of different types of photo shoots and events like that are photo events. I've also been invited, I've been interviewed for a couple of different cosplay magazines. And more recently, I got interviewed for the first edition of Star Trek Explorer,
Wow.
which is magazine. Yeah, which is really exciting. And then there's always different kind of networking events. Sometimes cosplayers are invited to movie premieres in cosplay, because they're looking for characters to be in cosplay. And these are just things that you don't really realize that cosplayers can do, or models a lot of times are asked, that cosplayers are used as models for animators or for, different types of series that are being filmed. And so there's a host of things that a cosplayer can do. But for me, it's been really exciting just to go to the conventions, to go to the different photo events, and certainly to be able to do interviews for magazines. So
Wow. I didn't know. I didn't know that. that and making money from it. Wow. Wow.
make it money, girl.
So how did you find out about the film Duty Calls? Did you have to audition?
No. So Duty Calls was just oh my gosh, the way I was invited to be a part of Duty Calls was due to me being in cosplay and to the Star Trek studios in Kingsland just to visit. So they had a fan appreciation weekend, and fans could come and just tour the movie studio. They could just come and tour. And as a huge fan of Star Trek, of course I had to go. And so I called up a friend, her name is Rachel, and she and I teamed up and said, let's put our, we're going to both cosplay from the same Star Trek series as different, as characters, and let's go and tour the studio and let's take pictures and let's just, have fun. And so we really just wanted to just go and have a fun weekend. We went to the weekend, but the owner of the movie studio said, you two actually embodied these characters really well.
Wow.
And it was he was very impressed with the cosplay that we were doing, and he actually wanted to write a screenplay that could feature our characters and feature us in our cosplay uniforms and costumes being that character. And so we honestly did not think he was actually going to write the screenplay
Wow.
and invite, like, because who tells you that? Who tells you, hey, but I'm going to write a film and I'm going to write the film with you in it. And I want you to come back and actually, act in this film and be a part of it. But that's exactly what happened. I mean, we got a phone call literally like a month or two later, maybe about 2 months later, and it was a script. And it was a script that was written, and it was emailed to us, and for us to do a reading, and we did the reading for the script, and it went wonderfully, and we started setting the shooting dates, and I mean it went really fast. It was just a really quick, from the time we came to just do a tour, to meeting the owner of the movie studios, to having the screenplay written, to us getting a script sent to us, and doing the reading, just like a virtual reading over the, like we did like a Zoom reading, and then and we started learning lines, and we got the dates together for shooting, and and that was it. So it was a very surreal type of experience for sure.
Wow, that's so cool. So I know you touched on this question a little bit, but maybe if you could elaborate a little bit more. So how did the content you produce on social media help you like book the role? I know you said you went to the place in Kingsland, but I don't know, maybe it helped, your content helped as well.
Yeah, for sure. So this particular actually having the content on my page, having a page, so
Mhm.
already having a social media page, having already posted lots of different posts in different costumes, and for this particular one it was Star Trek, so I had a lot of Star Trek costumes that I had already posted for this screenplay screenwriter to actually reference. So when we left, they went on to our social media pages to see, like to see who
Mhm.
we were, to learn about the types of cosplays we were doing, to see how passionate we were about this particular type of role, because we did this one costume and we went in person, but they really wouldn't have known anything else about us had we not had our social media
Mhm.
pages, like up running content on it. And so I think it was a very beneficial part of them continuing the process and deciding to go ahead and write up the spring, because they were able to really very easily do some research on our pages and see who we were and see what we were about. And so I think that played a big role. That the social media page also helped with getting interviews for magazines, because that's really the only way that editors for these magazines were able to see my content and be willing to put my picture into their magazine was through my social media site. Um, so social media has been a huge benefit for me being able to just get myself out there a little bit more.
So if you're an actor watching this, social media is very important. It just shows, you can show your range on social media. So thank you for sharing that. So we're going to take a break, but we'll be right back. Welcome back. I am your host, Mandisa Johnson with Atlanta Film and TV, and today we're having a conversation with cosplay artist Lisa Lake. Can you share with us? I know you can't share too much, but can you share with us about your experience being on set?
Oh my gosh. Okay. So if you've never been to a Star Trek set, the Neutral Zone Studios in Kingsland is just a treat. It will blow you away. The set is designed like an actual starship, and so
Wow.
I know I did a little bit of background art as a background artist and a couple of other just like shows and things like that. And sets are usually kind of broken up into different places and things like that. But this starship, it's a contained like it's all in one thing. There's corridors. Everything is
Wow.
like an actual ship, um, and then there are individual sets that are added to this starship. And so it is actually built like the original series of Star Trek from the 1960s. So
Wow.
um, it is really kind of breathtaking to walk onto this set and to see this, like, because these are the same sets that you've seen on the show. So if you look, if you're following the show and you've watched the original series, you will see like, oh my gosh, I know this set, so it just has like, it's nostalgic, it's it's really kind of surreal. And then once you add, once you actually get on there, you actually start filming and you've got all the lights and the camera and all this, you know, and it just brings everything to life. It's really amazing just to see how things kind of come together. Because we really, I mean, the shooting days are long,
Yeah.
are long, but you're on such a fabulous set and you're able to go into these different rooms and you're just like, and you're able to touch everything. It is really surreal as a fan of something when you've seen it on TV and you've seen these sets on TV as a fan, and then you actually step onto it and you're filming, on this set. It's just indescribable. It really is. But I had an amazing time. The crew we were working with they were wonderful. We had a really good cast that we were working with as well. I mean, it was really just a wonderful experience. I had a great time.
Wow, that's so cool. So we talked a little bit about your social media, but why would you say that building your online presence on social media is important for those who are cosplay artists?
Oh man, the biggest thing right now is cosplay has a lot to do with your photograph of what you've actually designed. So designing and building the costume is one thing, which, that's like a whole nother thing that you can document in cosplays, because usually the whole process of actually building the costume is also kind of like a teaching thing that a lot of cosplayers do, where they're able to like showcase the process, to get to this final product. And you can see the amount of work that
Right.
goes into, when you see the process and you see like, wait, they took these fabric pieces, they sewed it, then glued it, then they did this and that, so it legitimizes the work that you're doing. As a cosplayer, it really legitimizes the amount of work that you put into these cosplays when you're able to showcase them on your social media sites. One of the things that COVID did is having the pandemic is we weren't able to go to conventions. so a lot of times cosplayers are building up, this repertoire of costumes so that they can showcase them at the convention. And when the conventions come, then you actually put on your costume and then you go and, do the whole thing. But since conventions were no longer, active for these years, it was even more critical that you document, take pictures, put these cosplays on, showcase them online. And so there's been a bigger, having an online presence was important before as well. So it wasn't like it wasn't important, but even so now, because online social media presence is something that is actually building careers for a lot of artists, it's imperative. You have to have your links, you have to have an online presence on multiple sites. I mean, there are a lot of cosplayers that do well on maybe one platform or do better on one platform than the other, but you've got to get on there,
Right.
You get those like those are things you don't know until you actually, like, you got to start, you've got to get on, start that TikTok page, start that Instagram, start that Twitter, get on there, and then gauge how well you are getting responses based on, what's happening on each individual page. But it literally became the lifeline, is to have a social media presence, because that was the only way people would find you, and that's the only way people would see the costumes that you're designing and you're spending all these hours working on. So it is imperative to have that social media presence there, as much as you can. And that's something I haven't really, I haven't done as much research into every single platform. I've just kind of like found which ones that I knew were like doing well and then work that one, but But you have to start. You've got to get on there and get started.
Right. Right. So this isn't one of my questions. I just thought of it. How long does it take you to create a costume?
So creating costumes, oh boy, I know it takes a long time. It really just depends because the costume, if it's an intricate costume and it has a lot of pieces to it, it can take weeks. For costumes that are not nearly as difficult to put together, you know, I might be able to get that costume together in a matter of 2 or 3 weeks. But there was a costume for like I have a Snow White costume that has a lot of intricate detailing on it, and that's because like most cosplayers, they don't. You can buy a costume, so you can buy like a completely, you know, already sewn costume and just open the bag and put it on. So
Right.
you can do that. For cosplayers that want to customize their costumes and make those costumes unique and creative and do all of these other pieces to it, what I do is I'm like one of those cosplayers. I have to take that thing apart. I've got to re-put it back together. I've got to add all these extra pieces. My Snow White costume has like detailing all along all the different hemlines and things all have detailing on it. It's done by hand. So, you know, part of the fun is actually creating this, is spending the weeks and months collecting different items, ordering items, waiting for them to come in, and then editing. That's part of the fun. So but it really does depend on just what you're getting, you know, what you're trying to do. For me, it won't take very long if it's a simple costume. I can put a simple costume together in a week. But for those costumes that take more time because I'm ordering things and I'm customizing and I'm changing everything, you know, weeks, even months could be, you know, in the making to get it together. So yeah, it's a labor of love for sure, but it's so much fun.
Yeah. Yeah. And a lot of patience too.
It does take a lot of patience, and you have to have a lot of grace with yourself because I'm a perfectionist. So I just like, you know, I'll rip it back up and be like, oh no, got to do it again. You know, that's what takes forever. That's what takes forever because you're not satisfied with the final product yet. You're just like, oh, I got to fix this. Let me fix that. Let me add more diamond studs, or let me add, you know, it can go into, and it's costly.
Right.
So a lot of cosplayers are waiting to finish costumes because they have to get more money to buy more materials, you know, or to buy more parts. And so it is not a inexpensive hobby. I will tell you that.
Wow.
It can get very costly when you're buying expensive pieces and products and fabrics, and you know, it can definitely, you know, it'll start adding up.
Wow. So how can people follow your cosplay journey if you want to share your social media handles?
Absolutely. So right now I am on Instagram, I am on Twitter, and I am on Reddit at Lakely Loves Cosplay. That is my handle, Lakely Loves Cosplay. And it's on all of the handles. It's on all of the platforms. It's Lakely Loves Cosplay. I also have a TikTok page too. So it's yeah, so it's Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and Reddit. I am at Lakely Loves Cosplay. So I'd love to have you come and join me and check me out.
Yay. Well, thank you for answering a few questions for us.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much for having me. This was so much fun.
Yes, it
Had a
was.
great time.
All right. Thank you.
All right, have a good one.